the limit there.
All right, ladies,
we're live. We're a minute late, but we're just where we want to be anyway. So there you go.
Yeah, we're gonna get right into it. You can tell that. So, all right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, I pledge allegiance. Hang on a second.
To the flag. Okay.
To the flag of the United States of America. I screwed up. And to the republic.
And to the republic
for which it stands. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Here we go.
Here we go. That was a great beginning, brother.
Yeah. Hey, we need a little rock and roll from Boston. A little smoking, so I'm going to back out of my music.
Man's gonna take control
again. There we go. We got a little bit of Boston. We got some more music coming up for you. A little bumper music tonight. We're going to start the show, ladies and gentlemen. It's a really, really, really big show tonight. So,
whole damn night to go.
I don't know that we'll be on all night, but we got a long time to go. We'll be at least an hour, maybe a little bit longer. You never know. You never know. We can go as far as we want.
There we go.
All right. So,
Presto.
My apologies. My brother and I were having an argument prior to starting the show, and we ended up being late. It's my fault. So there you go. So, which is going to get us right into the start of the show.
Fault, but...
Well, you know, we were having a debate on whether or not Trump is lying or telling the truth about the Mar-a-Lago raid. So, and the news is, as I put on the leader for the show, that Trump is supposed to be arrested on next Tuesday. That'll be in 3 days from today. They're gonna handcuff him, perp walk him, and fingerprint him. You know, because they just think that he paid Stormy Daniels money out of his campaign funding or something like that, you know. So,
well,
but, you know,
that's the thing. I'm pretty sure he didn't pay him out of the campaign funding, or he would have been after him a long time ago. I think this guy is just making shit up right now. To tell you the truth, he's from New York, and
I was shocked.
Why are you shocked? Because of our argument earlier?
No, because you're saying that he's just making shit up. I'm just shocked. I can't believe that you'd say that.
You're shocked that he's making shit up. Yeah. Our government would never make stuff up. No,
never.
This has got to be real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So, yeah. Anywho.
So the idea is they're supposedly
let's see. Kenny Travis and Wayne Thayer are on. Hello, guys.
How you doing? Hello. I realize I'm not even watching to see if anybody's joining.
It took me a little while to get on there, but I did. So I'm
just not playing with a full deck today. But you know, you could say today. What do you mean by today?
That. Yeah. What do you mean by today? All right. So you want to get into the 21st Amendment before we get into the Donald Trump?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's actually talk about the Constitution of the United States of America, because it's anywhere but China. We could talk about that.
Anywhere
but you got China. Your audio on your phone's coming through or something. So
on my phone. Must be your phone, not my phone. Mine's turned
it is.
Yeah, okay, but blame it on me.
I thought I turned mine down. Mine was actually plugged in. I was playing. I'm like, what the heck is going on? But I had it plugged in for when I called you, you know, to let you know I was in the studio. You know, so I didn't turn it all the way down.
Holy mackerel.
Once again, my fault. I'm more than willing and capable to admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah, whatever. Blah, blah.
All right. So we have Wayne there and Kenny Travis, and I got nobody showing up on my
Dulcie
side,
Bennett is on too. Hello, sweetheart.
Hello, Dulcie. It's 3-0 now so far.
and I think I think my daughter's listening on hers. She said she was going to listen. I don't know if she'll show up or not, but anyways.
There you go.
Amendment 21, Section 1. The 18th article of amendment to the Constitution of the United States is hereby repealed. And the 18th Amendment was to banish liquor. And Nicole Sullivan is on. Hello, Nicole, how are
There
you?
you go. Nicole Sullivan. Hello, Nicole.
So
Drive safe, sweetie.
she's driving and she texted that on there. So yeah, okay, that's enough.
Well, she's
all
got
right?
voice
That's
control on her
enough.
text. That's what it is. So.
That's probably a voice control. So yeah. So
So
the
the
18th
Amendment
Amendment was about
21,
abolishing liquor.
21, yeah.
And
Yeah, the
and
18th Amendment was
21
the
is
prohibition
repealing that amendment.
intoxicating liquor, not other liquors, just intoxicating liquor. So
That's
like,
right.
I don't know.
You can
I
get
don't
the
know whether
NA
liquors.
kind, but you
Yeah,
can't get the.
I don't think they made them back then, but whatever.
Well, I
We're
don't know.
just
I'm just throwing stuff out
we're just
there.
going through the civility and the senility, I guess, of our founding fathers and the people that were running our government back then. They just didn't. Oh my gosh,
Right.
liquor is so bad, we better abolish it in the United States.
Now they want to legalize heroin and stuff like that. It's just crazy.
You know what I find interesting about that? I find this very interesting. So in liquor, in the 18th Amendment, let's see, where do we go? So I'm trying to think what year that was. So that was 18th of December 1917 is when they proposed the 18th Amendment, and it was
Right.
29th of January 1919 when it passed, right? So back in
Right.
1917, they had this idea. You know what? We want all the states to abolish liquor, so we're going to pass an amendment to the Constitution, right? Today, they're like, well, it's a lot easier for us to just legalize it in our state. So who cares what the federal government says? We're just going to legalize it in our state.
Yeah.
But when the Supreme Court, go ahead.
And I get the state thing, because we don't want our government controlling what each state does, because each state has different needs and wants. But I can understand why a state would say, yeah, it's okay. We should just say heroin's okay, because what it would be the reasoning for that? I don't understand, except for to save money with your police force. That'd be the only thing I could. Yeah, there you go. That Oregon, exactly. They have in Oregon.
Yep.
You can have certain amount of meth heroin without being charged. They also have safe drug spaces. Yes. And
so
actually,
you can go shoot up
wife
without,
is in Oregon right now as a travel nurse, and
Yeah.
that's what they do out there.
Well, that
Which
reminds
is
me of something
crazy.
else. Hopefully, I'll get to it later. But yeah. I mean, it is crazy. But what I find interesting is they're realizing that in today's day and age, it's more difficult to get a constitutional amendment to say we're going to legalize heroin, right? So they legalize it in
Right.
separate states. but when the Supreme Court says, you know what, we feel like the Supreme Court overstepped our bounds when it came to Roe v. Wade, so we're going to take away the ruling
you're right.
that they had.
They want it when they want it, and then
right. But they said we're going to give it back to the power of the states, right? So it's like they didn't abolish abortion. This is the amazing part about that ruling. They never abolished abortion. They said we're putting the
Supreme Court never said you can't have an abortion in the United States.
Exactly. They said that the earlier version of the Supreme Court overstepped their bounds by legalizing abortion. And they said it's really up to the states, because we're a federal republic. We're not a Democrat constitution. We have a Republican constitution, and we have federals and we have states. So they're putting the onus on the states. Okay, so their responsibility. If they want to have abortion, they can pass a law and legalize abortion. If they don't want to have abortion, they can pass a law and they can make abortion illegal, right? But that's on the states. Right. And if you live in the state, which, oh, by the way, the ones that are crying the most, like New York and California, they already have laws to say that you are allowed to have an abortion, right? And I'm not going to
Isn't that the way it is with a lot of things, though? The people who are actually being affected aren't the ones crying out loudest anyways. Like all this crap about changing the NFL names and stuff like that. It wasn't the Indians that were bitching about that. It wasn't. It just wasn't. It was the idiots,
the woke white people. It seems like the white people are the ones that are most offended by the racism of the names, the name calling.
Yeah.
So, and the same thing is happening with Black Lives Matter. I mean, there are some black leaders in the Black Lives Matter, but the ones that are out there beating up people and smashing windows are all a bunch of rich white people, you know. And oh, by the way,
Yeah.
if you want to have a change, if you think that the government institutions are racist by design, and you're crying against racism, why are you electing a 80-year-old white man to be your leader? Or
Right.
you're putting in a bunch of white women and men to be your different heads of state, right? So it's not about racism. There's, oh, look at me, I'm a white person, I feel bad that I'm white, but I'm gonna run and control the party. So there you go. You just got to live with it.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's
So
ridiculous.
if Biden truly wanted reparations, he should give up his presidency to a black person. And
Well, and Kamala Harris would follow because she's technically not a black person. So just saying.
I understand. I understand. She's like Pocahontas, only a little more than Pocahontas. She got like 10% black in her instead of 2% like Pocahontas.
Well, she's like Indian and
whatever
something
Pocahontas
else.
had.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But you can drop down that black card anytime you want. Oh, I'm black. And oh, what? By the way, since I'm pushing this subject right now. Anyway, I'm going to step over the bounds right here. So
might as well. We're off the rails. Go ahead, brother.
I might just jump right in a pile of shit and go with it, right? So if you can if you're a male and you can identify as a female, and you can even get your surgeries changed or something, why can't a 50-year-old, 60-year-old, 70-year-old, 80-year-old white man identify as a black man?
Exactly.
Oh, that's a problem.
I should be able to identify under the woke left ideology.
Right.
I should be able to identify as whatever I want to. And if I want to identify as black, why shouldn't I? And they look at me and they say, well, you're not black. Well, I look at him and he's not a woman. Right, so what is the difference?
That bulge between your legs is
Indian and Jamaican for Camilla, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dulcie. I think you're right. It's not. She's not black. So
anyways, we're talking about the states want some of their stuff, and then they don't want some of their stuff. Well, here's in the Article 4, Section 4, the United States.
Oh, here we go. Back to the Constitution.
Every state in this union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion, and on application of the legislation or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. So basically they're saying the states can make their own laws. And that's the way it should be, because how you look at it the way it is now. Okay. And this goes for both ways. California and New York don't want a Republican telling them what to do. Okay. Right. And there's other states too. And then
they don't mind telling you what to
Missouri,
do if they're Democrat,
Tennessee, Florida, they don't want the Democrats telling them what to do. Okay. And if we ever get to that point where that happens, we're in trouble. And I've said this many times. In my opinion, it doesn't matter which side it is, Democrat or Republican. If we have one party ruling, we are in trouble.
Yeah. Well, look at California.
This country will go off the rails.
Classic example of one party rule.
And New York's going right down the same way. Exactly. Yes. Anyways, let's get back to where we were. 21. 21.
Did we read any of 21?
Amendment 21. Section 2. Yeah, Section 2. The transportation or importation into any state, territory, or possession of the United States or possession of the United States for delivery or use therein of intoxicating liquors in violation of the laws thereof is hereby prohibited. So, remember Smokey and the Bandit? Remember that movie?
Yeah. It was great.
So they were running Coors Light, I think it was, from Colorado to Florida or something like that. Yeah, it was crazy. But anyways, go ahead with Section 3, Jeff.
So Section 3, this article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by conventions in the several states as provided in the Constitution, wherein 7 years from the date of the submission hereof to the states by the Congress. So that was proposed to the Congress on the 20th day of February 1933. So what did they get, like 1929? So basically 14 years of prohibition. As
Right.
when a
So Kenny
clause
says, "Oh
got
no,
passed
they
down.
say that's ridiculous."
Yeah, if you
What's
are a
ridiculous?
white
What were
man
we talking about?
identifying as a, if you're a white man identifying as a
Oh,
black
okay,
person.
yeah.
Yeah, prohibition is how NASCAR got started.
Is
Yeah, it is
how
absolutely.
NASCAR got started.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. They were racing through the
Moonshine. There's
backwoods and they were
a good
getting
song
really
about
good.
that.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, what's the name of that song? What's where the guy's running moonshine? Hmm.
I don't know. If I heard it, I probably remember, but I
My
can't remember.
name's Conley Petmore, same as my daddy and his daddy before. What the heck's the name of that song?
I
could sing
can't think.
the
I don't
words. I
even
don't know the song.
recognize
Anyways,
that. Anyway,
I digress. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. So where
Anywho,
we're at? Yeah. So amendment. We could go to Amendment 22 if you wanted to. It's pretty short.
let's do 22. Then
All right.
we'll call it
So
a night for the
I'll
amendment.
read
There
section
it is.
1 since you read 2 sections of 19. And I was only reading a little
Okie
bit. So
dokie.
Section 1, no person shall
Sounds
be
good.
elected to the office of president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than once. But this article shall not apply to any person holding the office of president when this article was proposed by the Congress, and shall not prevent any person who may be holding the office of president or acting as president during a term within which this article becomes operative from holding the office of president or acting as president during the remainder of such term. So this was proposed by
So let's see what
Congress on
year.
March
This is
21st,
1951.
1947 is proposed.
Oh, so 1947. So who was the president then that they were trying to protect them with?
Well, that's a good question. Oh, they were trying to make sure that if was it who was it? Was it Johnson? Who was the president then?
I don't know.
Because that would have been no, not Johnson.
Hang on, I'm looking it up.
So am I. Presidents of the
Okay.
US. So it was
All right.
1940 what? So
Seven.
that was Roosevelt. Yeah. So basically, there's and he was first elected president in 1933, and he was the president until 1945. So that would have been
So that's 11 years.
yeah. So I think he died though, didn't he? Before
12 years. No, 12 years. That's 12 years. Truman.
Yeah, so
Kenny says
Truman is who took his place in 1945. So
okay, so in 47, Truman was president, and
right.
but
so
the last president obviously was in for 3 terms.
But he was already gone, so that doesn't make any sense. So maybe they were saying if
they were just saying
Truman lasts 2 years, then or 2 terms, then that's fine. But he can only do 2 terms. I guess he didn't want to have another.
No, I think they were saying
2 terms. So.
No, I think they were saying if Truman goes more than 2 terms, it's okay, but after him, it's not going to be okay because it said anybody present when this article is proposed to Congress shall not prevent any person may holding office of president. So if they're at the time they're holding the office, then they could keep going. So it was basically after Truman.
Because Truman did 3 terms.
Section 2.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it was after Truman. They said that, so they put it in when Truman was president, so he could do 3. He could do. He wasn't affected by it, and that's probably how they got him to sign it. Actually,
right?
Imagine. All right, Section 2. This article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as amendment to the Constitution by legislatures of 3/4 of several states within 7 years from the date of its submission to the state by the Congress. So let's see, they made it in 47 and it got ratified in 51. So 4 years it took them to ratify it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking to see. It looks like the ones who did not sign up for the ratification basically finished signing up for the ratification by 1951 anyway, so it wasn't that far after when it was ratified. So yeah, cool. So March
So
1st,
Wayne
1951 is
Thayer just
ratified.
sent me a message. So
Oh
Wayne
yeah,
Thayer just sent me a message. Maine education chief, and in air quotes, academic learning takes backseat to social, emotional, gender, and race. So academic learning takes a backseat to social, emotional, and gender and race. I mean, this is crazy. It
well,
really
the
is.
only way it's
Country's
going to
this crap
change
is
is when people that want to make a change start getting elected to the school boards, and they say enough is enough. This BS is enough. Or parents
it,
take their kids out of public education. Like, oh, that's what you want to teach? I'm not going
and
there
you know
anymore. Have
what?
a nice day. So,
I say this. Um, if I hurt your feelings, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem.
right,
Unless I'm trying to, and I'm not trying to.
right.
But the problem is nowadays, people, if you talk different than them, and I had this conversation with my daughter about the difference between when liberals and conservatives argue. Uh, Liberals, if you argue with them, they call you names. You're a bad person, and you should be canceled and all this crap.
Right.
Republicans say, okay, we disagree. Go ahead and do what you want. I'll do what I want. And that's the way
Right.
it is right now, in my
But
opinion.
you can't do what you want.
It's
You're
not
not allowed to
100%.
do what you want.
It's not
So,
100%. Oh, I do,
right.
and I can.
No, but
I
I'm
can,
just
and I
saying
do.
from the
And they're
liberal
going to shut us off
perspective,
eventually because of
yeah,
it, probably. But you
right.
know,
But from the liberal perspective, you're not allowed as a conservative to do what you want because
right?
we don't like that, right? So if
Their
you want to
argument
speak,
is,
go ahead.
yeah, their argument is basically, this guy wants to be a girl. You should accept it, and if you don't,
Right.
you're a bad person. No,
Right.
that's not absolutely true. So there you go.
I saw this thing on Instagram today where the parents are like, "Hey, we're gonna go get a couple of tattoos," and the kid's like, "Hey, I want to go." So they take their 11-year-old to go get a tattoo with him, and the tattoo parlor's like, "Look, he can't get a tattoo. He's not old enough to make the decision to get a tattoo." So they got their tattoos, and then they took their kid over and had a sex change operation. So because that was okay. So it's like,
Evidently, I don't know. Well, Kenny says, speaking of amendments, did you see what this Senate Democrats are doing for the COVID hearings? And I did, Kenny. I think actually you sent it to me and I read it. Was so they're trying to stop money to go into the Wuhan flu for chain of function. Is it chain of function?
gain of function, gain of
Change of
function,
function,
gain of function,
gain of function.
everything
so
that
the
Dr.
Democrats
Fauci was doing.
want,
So
the Democrats want them to reword it as no money going to Chinese fire departments and something else. Had nothing to do with it. And the speaker said that makes no sense at all.
right,
That's not what we're doing here. But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to change the language so that it didn't say gain of function, take no money to Chinese Wuhan flu laboratory. That's not exactly what it's called, but it's something like that. Gain of
no, it's the
function
Chinese
stuff.
communist Wuhan flu, China.
There we go. Yeah, I forgot the communist part. Holy
Come on,
crap.
man. Oh, by the way, speaking of China,
man.
come on, man.
Beth Smay is watching. Hello, Beth.
Hey, Beth, how's it going? So speaking of China, so they're talking about the SVB, the
Anywhere but
bank
China.
in California, anywhere but China. Remember the bank that
Right.
failed in California a week ago Friday?
So I guess there's been 2 more since then failed too. Yes.
Yes. So what's interesting about that is, our government is gonna bail them out, right? There's a huge proportion of people that have money invested in that bank that are Chinese people from the Chinese Communist Party. Yeah. So we're gonna basically give money back to China for a failing bank that they had their money in America. So that's one.
Well,
So
what do you
another
think
thing
Biden
where you're
would
talking
do
about,
for the Chinese?
right? Of course he's
'Cause,
going to get money.
so
Because they just reported
speaking
that over $1 million was given to the Biden family from the Chinese Communist Party during his vice presidency. Yeah. Yeah. Let's read that out loud.
Yeah, it was
that'll get us
a
kicked
little
off.
over a million, $1.065 million.
Yeah.
And it was given to James Biden, Hunter Biden, and Hallie Biden.
Yep. Hallie
And it
Biden
went
is
through a guy named James Gilliar, who
yep.
was a former Clinton executive. Rob Walker. I'm sorry, Rob Walker is the money man for the Bidens, and he's an ex Clinton official, and he's the one that got the money, and he split it up between James Biden, which is Joe's brother, Hunter Biden, which is Joe's son, and Hallie Biden, which is Joe's daughter-in-law from his late son.
That's his son Bo, who died of cancer.
Yes, his late son Bo.
After Bo died, Hunter decided that he needed to be having sex with Bo's late wife. So,
yeah.
What could possibly?
I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to go down that road.
So
Hunter Biden is a mess. He's like one of the worst human beings in the world. He really is.
He is. So because Hallie Biden was having sex with Hunter, they decided they should give her about $54,000. Like, hey, we're sorry for your suffering.
Was it worth it? No, she still broke up.
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. Oh my gosh. So also another thing that's interesting. Yeah, it says 95% of Americans don't have 250,000 in one bank, so they are covered under FDIC. Kenny says so. The people who are always saying millionaire and billionaire need to pay their fair share are having the taxpayers cover them. Yes. Well, yeah, the people that are saying that the millionaires and billionaires need to pay their fair share are not millionaires and billionaires, or the woke white society like, Elizabeth Warren, because she's all pissed off that Elon Musk didn't pay money. And then Elon Musk comes back and says, hey, I paid a couple $1 billion in taxes. So, you could just sit on that road tape for a while, So it's like,
and we've had this conversation before, how these people became billionaires. And my opinion is this: we let all our businesses go to China, therefore they could make more money. And people say, the unions are the problem and blah blah blah, and I don't believe that, because what I'm saying is, and I always go back to this: when it first started going to China, it was the steel mills. So the unions were there. They were making money, and they decided they could get steel cheaper in China or wherever they're getting. I think it's China. I'm not sure where it first went to, but they started getting it from overseas. And so they get this steel for cheaper. Did the price of cars go down then? No. What went up was the profit margin of what the owners were making. Okay.
Right.
So this is my point. We bring the business back. We pay the employees what they're due or what they're worth. Okay. And everyone says, oh, the prices will go up. No, they won't. What will happen is the profit margins will go down, and they're still going to have plenty of money. Like I always said, if Elon Musk is worth $135 billion and we bring the jobs back here, and he has to suffer a little bit, he might only be worth, 75 billion or something like that.
Right.
So it's pretty simple to me how to fix this. But come on, Rick. Biden says they aren't bad folks. Who aren't bad folks? The billionaires?
Billionaires, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think there is. I'm just saying the reason why we have to have $15 minimum wage and stuff like that, and people don't have insurance, and so we have to come up with an insurance plan, is because we don't have the manufacturing jobs here that would make all that stuff go away. You'd still have the minimum wage jobs at McDonald's and whatever, and Walmart, okay, but you'd have the factory jobs where people would aspire to be, where you would make more money. And
well, there are still other jobs out there for people if they want to work for, but and I'm not saying that people are lazy. I'm just saying that there are other jobs. There are trade fields that people get into and make money.
There's just a lot less of them. Okay,
There may
a lot
there
less of
may
those
be, but
jobs than there used to
there's
be.
right, but there's
Well,
a lot of
there
those
is,
jobs that are open right now because they don't have anybody to fill them, and that's just a fact.
and that's
And
part of
that's
the
why they're
problem
saying
too.
they want to
If you
bring
give
people from
people money to stay
overseas.
home, they're going to stay home. You know,
Well, yeah, that's absolutely true. Well, some of them will. I mean, some of them will.
most of them will. I'm going to
Some
say
of us,
there are going to
some
be
of
people
us
who
will
won't.
not, though. Some of us will
Right,
not. So, like, I was
right.
working my ass off during the COVID, the Chinese Communist Wuhan flu,
I actually
because
found a
all
part-time
these,
job at Walmart during COVID. So there you
yeah.
go.
But my wife, who was, they shut down Disneyland over here in California for 475 days or whatever it was. It was over 400 days. First time
Said he said
Disneyland has ever been
50% of the
shut down.
people now are doing a apprenticeship for trades, and that's a good start. It really
Yeah,
is,
that's a good
because the
start. Yeah.
trades are very low in employment right now. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, my wife was working for Disneyland. Disneyland shut down for over 400 days. So when did we shut down, in March of 2020? Was that when it was? 2019.
yes. 20,
Anyway, so in
22.
November of that year, whichever year that was, or October of that year, my wife got a call from Disney, and she was like her answer was, "Yes, I want to come in. When can I come in?" They're like, "Well, we haven't even told you what we want yet." It's like, "I don't care. I'm going crazy. I need to go back to work." Right?
Right.
Because there
Yeah,
are people that
and
are
she was
like, "Look,
making money staying home too.
oh, she's making a lot more money she was making when she was working, because that extra
Right.
$600 a week or whatever that BS was, so she was paying down her car payments and paying off her credit card debt and doing all that stuff. And I was just like, this is great, right? But meantime, I'm out working, and I am not complaining. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not complaining. I love the fact that there is nobody on the freeways, and I could get to my job in about 5 to 10 minutes almost every job.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was awesome. So I loved it. I made money, and I didn't make a lot more money, but my business did not drop off at all. And I lost one of my biggest clienteles during that too. So I had a client that
Right.
they were paying me $2,000 a month. To service their company, they had over 35 Macintosh computers, and they decided to let their PC techs take control of that. Right. My
Right.
business picked up. I never
Right.
felt the loss of that $2,000 a month job. So it
Right.
was a God thing.
But
God totally took care of us. And I
but
enjoyed working. I had to wear
but
masks and all that other BS. So
they still sent you a check, just as they did me, which
no, they
the
didn't.
the
Well,
COVID didn't the COVID did not affect me at all. Okay,
right, but
they
I
still
didn't
sent
get
me
a weekly
checks.
check though, because I was not
No,
unemployed.
the two
Yeah, the
bigger
two
checks that they
thousand
sent
dollar
out.
check. Yes, they did send me
Yes.
those. Yeah, yeah,
So what I was saying at the time, and I still believe this, because even at the time when I said, "Don't send me a check. Why are you sending me a check?"
yeah.
It didn't affect me one little bit.
Right.
I'm going to take the money. I'm not going to give it back because our government's stupid anyways, and they throw money around like it's freaking, I don't know, peanuts or whatever. They just throw the shit around like they got an unlimited amount. Yeah, if you give it to me, I'm going to take it, but you should not have given it to me. That's my point.
Right. Yeah.
So
So Beth
yeah,
Snay says, keep in mind there's a huge population not wanting to work, and the government is paying them to be lazy. Yes, they are. They're still
yes,
paying them
they
to be
are.
lazy. So,
Yes,
and
they are.
we want to
And
read what Kenny says.
yeah, so many people didn't save that $600. They continue to live as if it was going to keep coming, and it did for a long time, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
yeah,
And this is
yeah,
what I mean. And I had this conversation with my brother while this was happening. Before they said it was okay, they're going to send out the $600. I had this conversation with my brother, and this is, you know what? If the government tells you can't go to work, then they should pay you
yes, they should.
100% of what you were making before, but they
Right,
should not pay you a dime more than that.
right,
Just pay you
exactly.
what you were making, and that's it. Giving
Right.
them the extra 600 made people stay home, and now we're in this situation now
Yeah,
where unemployment is low. Well, you know why unemployment is low? Because none of these idiots are looking for work.
yeah.
If you're not
Well,
looking for work, you don't get counted as unemployed.
right. Well, not mentioning names, but didn't you know somebody who knew somebody, you heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who,
We heard it from
but
a friend who heard
basically,
another friend, a
they,
cousin's
they
uncle.
yeah, they were not going back to work because they were afraid of COVID. But the real reason was basically they're making more money staying home than they are going to work, right? So it's
Yes.
like
Yes.
I'm sure we've
They
all
made
seen
that
and
statement.
heard that.
Yes.
It's like it's
Yes.
insane that people were like, oh well, and what was the mortality rate of people that were catching COVID-19? The Chinese Communist Wuhan flu. It was like 92% of people lived. Not not died, they lived. 92% of people that caught COVID lived, right? So,
Yeah, there's still a
it
high percentage of people dying from a disease. It really is.
but it's
8% is a
not
high
saying that
percentage of people.
8% is dying, though. It's saying that 8% went to another level of just a regular flu-like symptoms, right? So the
No,
percentage of
you
people
said
that are
live though.
dying, right? There's like no life-altering changes in their life, right? So it's like when you catch the flu, right? That was what was happening
Right.
to 92% of people. Now there's a percentage of people that
Okay,
they
I
had
see
a
what you're
lot
saying now.
worse,
Yeah.
in reactions to it, and there were people that died.
Yeah.
Right? 99.3% lived, Kenny says.
99.3% live. Yes.
So
Well, I'm
that's,
gonna believe
pretty good
Kenny this
odds.
time. Usually I question him, but I'm gonna believe him this
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
Because I
Jeff
want
didn't
to.
say it, so it must be true. Kenny said it, it must be true.
Exactly. Kenny
So
said it must be true because it's not
there's
coming out of Jeff's mouth. No, but
0.7%
even
of the
that,
population.
there's a lot of people died from it, and you
Yeah, there
can
are.
downplay it all you want.
Right.
It wasn't funny. It wasn't.
No, I never said it was
It
funny.
it, it was
And I never
it
said it
was
didn't
more it
happen
was
or
more
wasn't a real
lethal than the
thing.
flu. People got
Yeah.
more sick from it than the flu.
And
But
the
like I
ones who got
said,
the
I
sickest
think
had,
they handled it good
previous
in the beginning.
comorbidities. Right.
I think, like I said, I think they handled it good in the beginning. But once our government got control of you, they didn't want to let go. So if
Oh, not at
another
all.
pandemic comes around and they want me to, I'm going to go like this. No, I'll do whatever the
Like,
fuck I want. Oh, my bad.
just do
I'll
this.
do whatever I
This.
want because you guys can't be trusted with the 15 days to curb
Right.
the spread. You can't be trusted with
Yeah.
that. You just can't. So,
Well, they
I
can't even be
digress.
trusted with the fact that it wasn't manufactured or done gain of function in a Wuhan factory, which is like
Well,
a couple miles from the wet market
and
where they
that's the
said
way
that
our
it came
government
from.
is runs. It's
Yeah,
all about the money.
ridiculous.
That's the way our government runs. It's all about the money. Oh, it's going to cost us money if we let everybody know that.
Yeah,
They don't need. They
drain the
can't
swamp.
handle the truth. So
They
there you
cannot
go.
handle the truth. All right, so we've been beating this dead horse for quite some time. We're about 40
For
minutes into the
years now, I
show.
think.
40 minutes into the show. What are we gonna? We're gonna talk about Trump being perp walked, or what do you want to talk about next?
Let's do that first. Let's do that first
Yeah.
because that was you got more information on that than I got for sure. So because
So
I've been gone
apparently,
for a couple of days. Me and my
yeah,
daughter went to Gallenberg for a couple of days and we had a blast. But anyways,
sounds
so I
like a
wasn't
lot of
listening to
fun.
the news while we were there. I was on
Yeah.
vacation. So anyway, go ahead, brother.
So basically, there's the report that the DA, District Attorney in New York City, has leaked some information that they're trying to coordinate with the Secret Service, the FBI, and the New York Police Department and the courthouse police departments. The probability that they're going to have President Trump in their court on Tuesday of next week to arrest him, handcuff him, and perp walk him and fingerprint him so that they can charge him with a crime. And
Right.
so Trump caught wind of it and he he was like, "This is not going to happen." He's like,
Oh, look at Kenny
people
says
need to.
it's 9 years ago, 2 years past the statute of limitation. I don't think it was 9 years ago, though, was it?
Well,
when he was running for
no,
president,
right. So that would have been in
it was a while ago, that's for sure. So
2016,
2
yeah.
and 4 is
That's
6.
9 years ago.
So it's probably
Yeah.
7 years ago. Oh, you know what? That's why he's
Uh,
got to do it, Kenny, because it's right up to the statute of limitations.
2016. It's now 2023. That's 9 years.
Seven.
Okay, I know how to add.
7. I went to Windsor.
Yes, you're
I
right.
do the math. Between the two of us, I do the math. Okay, brother?
But the event supposedly happened prior to his basically saying that he's going to run
Oh,
for
okay.
president.
I see what you're saying. So the actual event happened before, but he didn't pay her off until he was running for president.
Right.
Is that what we're talking
yeah,
about?
something like that.
It
Yeah.
happened before that. She said she was going to leak it when he ran. Yeah. So that,
Right.
I understand that now, Kenny, what you're saying. Yeah. So it happened before that, but then he actually made the payment during his campaign. And he's paid off a bunch of women, my understanding is, but it is what it is.
Just
when you're,
spread the rumors,
and I would imagine,
why not? I've heard a lot of women have been paid off
no,
by Donald Trump.
No, I've actually read there's a bunch of women that he's paid off other than Stormy Daniels before her. And basically what he said was, this is just how you do business. People come up and they try to inflammatory you. You pay them off instead of going through the legal process because it'll hurt you more in the legal process. Something to that effect. I don't remember exactly, but it was
So
something to that effect.
have you heard the stories of all the times he's paid off people's houses?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
but that has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. I'm just
no, it doesn't have anything to do with what
we're
talking about right now. But
geez,
I think it's interesting.
Oh yeah, he's an angel, Jeff. He's an angel. Let's go with that.
No, I did not
Trump
say
is an
that. I
angel.
did not say that.
Holy mackerel!
But what's the interesting point
He's
about
done a lot
your
of good
statement?
things.
The interesting point about your statement, which I find interesting, and I'm in agreement with you, is he's basically saying, look, regardless of whether it's true or not, it's easier just to pay them off to get them to go away, right?
Yeah.
So that's the point of what you're making, and I missed that point when you started making it. I thought you were trying to make a derogatory.
I know you were ignoring me because you wanted to tell me how good a great guy he was.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I love Trump.
He's a great guy. Oh, Trump's the best. He's the best. Carol Fleming is watching. Mackerel. I forgot to tell you that. So,
hello, Carol. Don't you throw in your two
best man? I think Dems want to fuel the hate for Trump that many women had, not me, but yes, and that's exactly it. They want the woman vote just like they want the black vote, so they'll say whatever they want because they know they're not going to get the white man's vote because most white men think conservatively, and whoever the Republican is, they're going to go down that road. There's going to be more of them than they think towards the Democrats. It's not a huge market, but it is.
Here's the question. I'm not dismissing you, Beth, and I probably totally agree with you. But here's a dilemma with that thinking, right?
Kenny says, wait, look what Kenny said. You heard it, Rick. Said he was an angel.
Rick said he was an angel. Donald Trump was an angel. I'm going to cut that out of the video feed and put it on a trailer. I'm going to put it on a trailer.
Put it on a loop.
Yeah. Donald Trump is an angel.
Trump's an angel. Trump's an angel. Yeah, Trump's an angel.
So along the lines of, they want the women vote, right? So how do you reconcile wanting the women vote and your son is banging a bunch of prostitutes and videotaping it on his computer, right? And smoking crack.
Kenny already put it on YouTube. Yeah. No. Well, all you got to do is tell the news media that's not true, and they go, okay, and they don't report it. So
speaking of which, so a reporter today confronted our illustrious president, President Joe Biden. Yeah. And said, hey, Mr. President, what do you think about the comments that were made about the Biden family getting paid off $1 million from China? He's like, what? He's like, it was reported today that the Biden family got paid off. And this is not the news media reporting it. This is the documentation that they got, that the Republicans got when they're doing their investigation, right? So it's basically literally.
No, I understand that. Yes.
Right. So, so you know what our president's response was? Oh, that's not true. That's not true. It didn't happen. And he walks away from the camera.
Right. Well, yesterday.
My gosh.
He yesterday he ignored the press when they were throwing out questions about the bank failures or the Russian jet downing our drone. And the GOP probes into Biden family ties and foreign business dealings, and he just walked away from them. And so here's what the Post said today in the paper about press conferences and interviews that Biden has given this far in his pregnancies.
It is pregnant. You heard it here first, folks. President Joe Biden is pregnant.
He told you men can get pregnant.
As a pregnant woman.
Oh, I don't care who Trump slept with. I care about our national security and economy, where was female anger with Bill Clinton? Absolutely.
That's a good question, Beth.
That's the way I look at it too. I go, I don't like Trump as a person, but he did some good things. He really did. And I'm not a big fan of all the crap he brings to the presidency. But anyways, let's go back to this. So Biden press conferences and interviews as
Pregnancy
a president. At this point during his pregnancy and presidency.
Another clip.
Presidency.
On
the
trailer.
So Biden has given 22 press conferences up to this time in his presidency. Okay. Trump gave 41. Obama gave 46. Bush gave 40. Clinton gave 84. And H.W. Bush gave 17. The first person who gave less than 22 is Ronald Reagan. But if you look back, I'm going to bet Ronald Reagan was before like media got really big, and that's probably part of that reason.
So I got a question. And then we go. I'm just kind of curious, and you probably don't know the answer to it. But do they call it a press? Do they call it a press conference when the president is walking to Air Force One on the helicopter in the grounds, and he stops and talks to him? Which he did almost on a daily basis.
Who, Trump? Yes, yeah. Trump did. No, press conference, when they call the press together, he sits in front of them and answers questions. Trump did that a lot. Yeah.
It's kind of deceiving a little bit. So,
well, you can call it deceiving, but even with that, he gave almost double what Biden has given already.
Right. No, but I'm just saying he basically. So, yeah.
Oh my God. I love how no matter what nationality is on display, Biden somehow has the DNA in his family.
Well, so therefore he must be pregnant. I'm just saying.
Exactly. That's what I mean. You're talking DNA, he's got to be pregnant. Oh, that is so disgusting how Biden just turns his back and walks away. Yeah, it is. But you know what? It says something. It really does. It says a couple of things. One, we know he's not all mentally there, so he can't answer the questions that are brought to him. He has to know the answers before he speaks them, because he can't answer them. And two is you ever know how when you go up and you shake someone's hand and they got a weak handshake?
Oh, don't even get me started with that crap.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
No. So, but you immediately go, who the hell is this douchebag?
Right.
And that's the exact same feeling I get when he turns around and walks away from someone asking him a question.
Right.
I mean, understand it if he's been there asking questions and he finally goes, okay, I've had enough. But this idiot just turns around and walks away.
Right.
And that seems like a very low human being to do something like that, in my opinion.
So Beth, we're gonna get to your question in just a second, but I want to talk about something else that Rick's talking about, because Rick and I have talked about this before. So Biden has been in politics for 50 plus years, right? And when you have dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever, your short-term memory starts going, and the things that you have, and the things that you remember, things you've been doing for 20 and 30 years, right? So this is the way that Biden is, right? So you
Barry Bruce is watching. Hello, Barry.
Hey, Barry, how's it going? So regardless of how you feel about Joe Biden's pregnancy,
Steve is watching too. So he just heard that. There you go.
Nice. So regardless of how you feel about Joe Biden's presidency and his mental depreciation that we've been able to watch on national news, you have to realize that the stuff that he's doing, the way that he sniffs little girls and he sniffs women and he holds their hands really long and wants to get really close and cuddly, this is stuff that this guy's been doing for 60 years, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that when he first ran for senator, he was lying about his educational background and his
plagiarizing people.
Yeah, plagiarizing people. And you can look it up. I'm not telling anything that's new, but this is the way this guy is. So when this guy turns his back on the news media, he's not doing it because it's a local moment in his memory. He's doing it because this is what he's always done. He's fallen back to what he's always done in his life and his political career, right? And you can go back and look at some very interesting Joe Biden speeches where he is pro pro-life, where he's pro-border, he's anti-illegal immigration. There's a lot of things, pro-cops, yeah. There's a lot of things that you can go back and look at his life and or look at his speech, and you're like, where's this guy today, right? So I think he's been drug into the limelight, and they're saying, look, this is what you got to talk about, and that's why they're so deathly afraid of him being given pressers, because they don't know where he's going to go, if he's going to go off speech or not. He reads the prompter where it says pause for effect. Oh, pause for effect. What the heck?
Well, he's yeah. I get this from him and Cruella. They both try to speak like Obama did, because Obama could speak. That guy,
yes, he could.
Oh my God,
he could. I didn't like what he was saying, but he could speak.
Holy mackerel!
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're looking at your dictionary last night.
I was in the dictionary earlier today. Orator. There we go. I got it out. Now
so that being said, there you can look at what Biden is doing, and you can get offended by when he turns his back on the news media. But this is what this guy's done all his life. If he doesn't like what you're saying, he just turns his back and walks away.
That he walked away from press before. I've never noticed that about him before. I'll have to check into it, see what it is. But like I said, to me, it's just bad. You don't do that. You just don't do that. You're the president of the United States, for God's sake. And it goes back to why are these people? Why do we as a country vote in someone who's 80 freaking years old, white guy? Okay, why do we do it? It's ridiculous. We need to get rid of all these old people. Him, Schumer, Turtleneck,
Chuck Schumer.
Oh yeah, I saw this. People need to freaking go.
I saw this meme on Instagram the other day where
How's back to his diagnosis. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, hon, but does he have a diagnosis? If he does, it's being held from us.
Yeah. Oh well, he's in perfect health. He's in perfect health. That's what they told us when he just had his exam. He's in perfect health. Yeah.
Look at me. Judge me by what I do. Yeah, I am. That's the problem.
All right. So, Beth, we're going to get back to your question. Your question is, do you think DeSantis and Trump will team up? Currently, I don't think they will.
No.
I mean, DeSantis has not announced.
I don't see how there can be a reconciliation there. I really don't.
I think there can be a reconciliation. Kind of like when Kamala Harris calls Joe Biden a racist on stage, and then he picks her for being his vice president. That's
you're talking about Joe Biden and Donald Trump. They're not even close to being the same person. And I don't.
No, I'm not saying they are. Well, I'm just saying. I may be politics wrong being what it is. I think if Donald Trump wants to be president, it looks better for him to have Ron DeSantis as his vice president. But then again, would Ron DeSantis want to be the vice president? If he's a born leader, he's not a follower.
If DeSantis doesn't run, I can see Trump maybe asking him to be his vice president. But if DeSantis runs and then doesn't, backs out and Trump wins, I can't see Trump forgiving him and saying, yeah, okay, you can be my buddy now. I can't see that happening. We need to start with press. The press gets behind the candidate, and that's what people see. And I've said this all the time, Kenny. I go back and forth between CNN and Fox, and if you're not watching both of them, you're only seeing half the news, because they're completely different stories, and they're most of it's relevant on both sides. It's just you don't see, if you're only watching one, you're not seeing what the other stuff is reporting, and it's just it's a big difference. And I just think everybody should do it. Dulcie says it's about the fake news and whose side they're on. Exactly. And like CNN, I'm trying to think of the other day I was watching them and what CNN was reporting.
One of the two two followers.
They said very little about the train derailment. I do remember that. CNN said very little about that after like the first couple of days. And and Fox was on it like hounds on blood, man. I'm telling you, they were on it for weeks. They kept talking about it, and I think
the reality is in the middle.
It's a news story. It needs to be reported on, and so we got our Pete Buttigieg as our transportation secretary. Do I think it was his fault that the train wreck happened? No, I don't. I do think
No,
he should
but
have went down there and checked on it though, and done it better.
immediately,
He's an idiot. He's a
immediately,
fool.
he should have
He's
went
a
down there.
fool
Yeah.
not to do that. He
Well, he
truly is.
stuck his
I
finger up
don't think
into the wind. He's like, "Which way is this going? I got to figure this out before I do that." That is not what
exactly.
leaders do. Leaders do what Trump did. He's like, "Look, enough is enough. These people. I mean, the
Beth
president of
May
the
says
United
she
States, his
watches both, and everyone
administration."
should. So.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm sorry,
I
brother.
don't.
I cut you off.
No, but I agree. So
Yeah,
the
he agrees with you, but he doesn't do it. Yeah,
just saying, just being honest with you, people. So
that's right.
yeah. So, so Donald Trump is like, look, it's ridiculous the fact that our government and the current administration is doing nothing to help these people to even show up to say that we're concerned, right? And as soon as he says, I'm going to go to Palestine,
Had nothing to
Ohio,
do
or
with it.
wherever, they suddenly like, well, Pete Buttigieg, oh, I'm going to go out there. You had no
Had nothing to do
plans
with
on
it.
going
Just
out
ask
there.
him.
Yes, absolutely. There's
Just
nothing
ask
to do with it.
Pete.
So
He had nothing to do with
okay.
it. Pete says he had nothing to do. I got to believe Pete on this.
Kenny made a comment that you got to hear.
I
Rick.
had nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
That's my people.
you got to read this comment from Kenny that he said earlier when we were talking about pregnant Joe
Which
Biden.
one? What you say?
Well, Rick, a pregnant man is too tired to shake a hand.
I missed that, Kenny. I'm glad my brother brought that up. That's good. I like it.
Well, I was watching these go
and
by,
now
but
I
we were having
understand it.
conversations. Yeah. I was watching these go by, but we were having conversations. I'm like, well, I want to read that, but I don't want to throw it in there and mess up the conversation. But yeah,
No, throw it in there. Throw it in there, man. Come on.
Well,
Come on,
Biden
man.
is,
Just cut me off.
Beth May says Biden is also told not to publicly speak. Yeah, because when he goes off script, it's a train wreck, right? And even when he's on script, he reads the script where it says pause for effect or whatever it is. He reads it out loud.
Go back
like repeat that again.
Repeat
it again.
His wife is should be held responsible for this because she should know better.
Yeah,
well, no, his wife is a doctor, and
she's not a doctor. She is not
a doctor. Okay, she's a doctor. Okay,
she's a doctorate degree.
The doctor.
She is not a doctor. Ask
Dr. Joe Biden, okay?
Is a doctor, okay? Dulcie Bennett.
Anyways,
is Joe Biden a doctor?
Even not being a doctor, okay? Even not being a doctor, she should know better than to put her husband out. She should doctor of education. Yes, I know that, sweetheart, but I just throw it out there because it's funny. But even without being a real doctor, she should know better than to let her husband keep doing this. He won't stop himself because I'm going to tell you, yeah, probably she did. but he won't. So we talk about this. My mom has Alzheimer's, and the doctor who her doctor, her brain
was a real doctor. Who's a real doctor.
Who's a real brain doctor. Told her at one point during this neurologist. There you go.
Big word. I just
50% of the people who have Alzheimer's don't realize they have it, and 50% do. And Biden's one of the 50% who doesn't think he's got it. My mom, to this day, will say, "What do you mean? I don't have Alzheimer's."
You don't want to say what she'll say, but
well, there might be some expletives in there, but yeah. And then call me a name, or something like that.
Well, not you, but the doctor. So call the doctor.
Oh yeah, that effing bitch. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
She has, she got her doctorate degree, and it's not a Jill Biden doctorate degree. I'm just saying.
Just want to throw that out there. What's Kenny saying now? Jamie Vance was just yelling about those chemicals. They dug them up and they are still sitting there. What happens if it rains? Yeah, and the thing is, it's not going to go away. It's gonna sit in the ground until
apparently their fire eventually burn them off.
So Kenny, do you remember? I was going to talk about this earlier when we were talking about the businesses that went away. So in Binghamton, New York, Kenny, you know this. There used to be IBM, SingerLink, Vale Blue, Universal,
Eureka Technology.
Eureka Technology is still there, actually. But they were all these great big
I didn't
businesses
know they
that
made
were there,
tents anymore.
and they've gone away, almost all of them. And
Oh
anyways,
my God.
same subject, different point is there's a big spill in Endicott, Endwell area where the IBM plant was. And the IBM people have been gone for many, many, many years. And they still found stuff in the ground like 20, 30 years later. And it's just, it doesn't go away. And it just keeps going further and further down into the ground,
Right.
into wells, into whatever. It's not going to go away. There's nothing they
Right.
can do about it really at this point, I don't think, other than, I don't know, dig the freaking ground up everywhere around there and take it
Well,
out of there. Then what do you do with it though? Dump it in
right.
the ocean?
I mean,
I don't know what
give it to New York City trash disposal. They'll take care of it.
Exactly. Dulcie says she should be held accountable for his health and neglect thereof.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is neglecting him. She
Yeah.
truly is. Kenny says, remember the Whoopi Goldberg
When
said
Whoopi Goldberg-
Joe Biden should be the Surgeon General. Yeah, you remember that.
Well, you know why that they didn't. You know why they didn't nominate Joe Biden to be the Surgeon General, right? Because she doesn't
Because she's a
identify as
doctor.
No, because she doesn't identify as a transgender or a lesbian.
There you
or
go.
something like
Exactly.
that. She's just a woman.
And Singer Link,
a
yeah.
woman in a position, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yes, and Singer Link, yeah, they were all there. That and back in the late 70s, early
What did
80s,
Singer
Binghamton
Link
was
do?
one of the top 30 places in the country to live.
Right, it was.
And now it's one of the bottom 30.
What did Singer Link do? What was their manufacturing?
They had a lot of
Singer
government
sewing
contracts, I think.
Is that Singer sewing machines? Is it? What's Singer Link?
No, I don't think it's Singer sewing machines. That might be part of their business. I don't know. She only plays one on TV.
Pretty much, that's all she does.
But she did stay at a Holiday Inn last night.
She got some good rest last night.
Flight Simulator. That's right, Barry.
Oh, okay.
Flight Simulator. Yes.
God knows we don't
that.
need any more flight simulators now because they're just hiring people based on color right now for pilots. That's why we're having all the accidents on the runways and the taxiways and stuff.
That's part of the reason they've lowered
the
standards so that they can get more people of color in to be pilots. With Mr. Harris. Flight Simulator, Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris. Who's Mr. Harris? Oh, Camilla's husband. Cruella's husband.
Oh,
Mr.
there
Harris.
you go.
Oh, that's right, because they were kissing. Yeah, that's right. Dr. Jill and
that story
Cruella's
disappeared
were
real
making
fast,
out.
didn't it?
Yeah.
That story disappeared real fast. Really fast. It's like it's gone. We don't know. We don't know what you're talking about.
That's right, Kenny. Equity is what it's all about.
Yeah.
And that's how our country goes under right there. Equity is what it's all about. When you hire on the way you look instead of the way you can do the job, our country is in trouble, and that's what's happening right now.
The boxes that you check. Well, woman, black,
Let's see.
lesbian, immigrant. Oh my gosh, we should make her our press secretary.
Wait a minute. Below that was can't do the job, but that's okay. We'll skip that one because they checked all the other boxes.
Never been a press secretary her entire life. Never done anything regarding the press secretary. Yeah, it's just...
and she is the worst. She is the worst. Yeah. She truly is the worst press secretary. And I told my brother, I said, you can tell when she's lying or making stuff up or doesn't know the end because she'll blink her eyes, but she doesn't open them. She does like this. She goes, and that's how her eyes go when she's lying about something. Watch, I'm telling you, watch. I am absolutely right on that. I'm absolutely right. Good night, everyone, and stay safe. Good night, sweetheart. I'll talk to you in a few.
Yeah.
I just think she isn't a good liar. Absolutely not. Yeah.
What's really funny about Jean-Pierre, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme? Yeah.
Is we forgot who was a press secretary before, circle back Psaki. Peppermint Patty Psaki.
But she was at least decent. I mean, this girl was not good at all.
She never circled
Other
back.
than
I'm just
and
saying.
she quit.
Said it a
Well,
lot,
she
but
quit.
she never did
See,
it.
she quit saying "circle back" after like the first month or so because people were calling her that, and she just quit saying it altogether. But yeah,
What? So just out of curiosity, maybe you know this or not. Was it Jen Psaki or Jean Claude Van Damme that said on top of mind? Top of mind. Was
Jean-Claude
it
Van
top?
Damme said "top
Oh,
of mind."
nice.
Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme said it. Yeah, top of mind. It was on
Top
top
of
of
mind.
mind.
Top of
Top of
mind.
mind.
I actually
He
heard
didn't.
somebody at like BBC say that. And I'm like, what the frick? Top of mind. So all right,
Trump's last
Trump.
press secretary was fantastic. She knew what she was talking about. She did, but she was just
Kayleigh
nasty
McEnany.
to the media.
Kayleigh
Yeah, she was
McEnany.
just nasty to the media, and I
She
didn't
was.
appreciate that at all. She did know her facts though, without having to go through her binder, and that was good. But I think she could have been. I don't know. She just could have been better to the media that doesn't like. And this is what and this is why I say you gotta if you gotta watch out calling out the media. You gotta call them out. You gotta hold them accountable, but you can't just keep calling them out because
They're lying all the time.
any dictatorship in the world can just say, "No, you're a liar. You're a liar. You never tell the truth. You never tell the truth. You're a liar. You're a liar." And that's not the truth. It's not they never tell the truth. You know, it's a very slippery slope you go down there. Very slippery slope to go down and start calling out the media. You can answer in ways without the way she answered them. You can say, well, that's a loaded question. I without going down the road that she went, and she did that often, all the time, and I wasn't a big fan of that. But anyway, she did know her stuff. There's no doubt about that.
So for an alternate point of view, I totally loved Kayleigh McEnany, and I thought she did a great job.
You would.
So, just saying, I do not agree with my brother on this statement, but this is why we have our show, because we have different opinions.
That's right.
And sometimes we argue heated and debated.
And
just made
and you know what? We argue debatedly, like you just said. And when we're done, we say, "I love you" and good night. It's not the end of the world that we disagree. It's
right,
not.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons.
If everyone agreed all the time, it'd be a bad place to live. It really would.
Yeah, well, you'd be like living in California.
Was being attacked by 99% of them. Remember, Jim Acosta pushed the intern's hand away from the mic. Well, yeah, I mean, there were times when the press acted bad there too. I'm not saying that they didn't, Ken, but there were times. But you're there, you're in the spotlight. You got to act better. You just do. I don't know how Rick could say that after admitting Trump was an angel.
Hey, but he also said,
Ken, I don't always agree with what I say. Okay, Ken.
The comments made on this show may or may not.
We're like 7 minutes over. Agree
and
disagree like a married couple. Yes, exactly.
I think, honey, we're gonna have to agree to disagree. There you go.
And then go make up.
Yeah. Well, you do that with your wife. I'll do it with my wife. Just saying.
Well, yeah.
So yes, we are 8 minutes. Hey, well, don't allude that there could be a swap going on. I'm just saying, you with your wife, me with my wife. There's no
exactly
going on here. I'm just saying. There's a clear separation going on. Your wife and my wife will greatly appreciate. I'm just saying.
Yes, they will.
Yes, they will. You're gonna
anyways
hear about that from our producer later today. I'm telling you. So yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to our show. Thank you for listening to what we have to say.
This show was awesome tonight, and a lot of it had to do with the people that came here and listened to us.
Yeah. We want to thank God for our troops, for our soldiers that defend our country and our Constitution, the great United States of America. We want to thank God for our police officers, for our firefighters, our first responders. We really appreciate you all. We appreciate the hard work and the endeavors that you do, and God bless you all. And God bless you all as our audience, and God bless America.
What my brother said, time to do. God bless everybody. Thanks for coming by.
There you go. God bless you. It's the end of the show, and it's time to go.